if you're anything like I used to be, you probably find yourself in situations with buyers where everything seems to be going swimmingly, and then suddenly they ask a question or make a comment that totally takes the wind out of your sails. You know, the type of thing, your price is too high, or prefer your competitor, or your service is lousy, whatever it is. And that typically catches us flat-footed, and we don't respond terribly well. We make excuses, become defensive, and then the conversation heads up going downhill. And the problem is not that we don't come up with the answer so much, it's that our credibility suffers. We ought to be able to respond to those things, and we just can't. Anyway, that happened to me a lot until I realized one day that, hey, probably these are the same sorts of questions, and it doesn't really matter what the situation is, the same kind of response ought to work, at least as a first response. And so what I did was I looked at the most common things I got asked, and there's only probably about 10 or maybe 20 of them, and thought about some standard responses and then practiced them in front of a mirror, repeating them until they just stuck in my mind. And now when I get asked or the comment gets made, bang, out comes the response. For example, someone turns around to me and says, your price is too high. I say, tell me, why do you think that? Which is a perfectly natural response. And by the way, most of these responses are questions. Now, and I'll talk about in another video how to respond, because you can reasonably then expect what or predict what the buyer is going to come back with as a result of you saying that, and then you respond to that. So best thing is, and here's the tip, think about some standardized responses, and so you can deliver them confidently when the time comes, not glibly, and they come across perfectly naturally as well. Don't come across as rehearsed or stilted. They just come across as, well, that's the answer. Give it a try. I'll talk more about that in the next video. Cheers.